you to write an essay right now on how you need to be loved. People who can't write, people who can't spell, can tell you how they want to be loved. But if I ask you to write an essay on how you are willing to give love, are you as articulate about giving it as you are about receiving it? It's going to be dry, Lord. The truth of the matter is, in our old Adamic nature, we have a tendency to be selfish. Until you address that, you can't change that. You have to understand, particularly in this era that we live in now, we have a me generation. It's about me. That's why everything that requires unions are falling apart. Because two selfish people get together and try to make a union and they can't even communicate. It's hard to even counsel people about marriage because you tell them to communicate and they start fussing. And the reason they start fussing rather than communicating, fussing is what you do when you're just waiting on me to shut up so you can get your point in because you're not interested in understanding what I said. So we never really have communication. We have turns at monologue. I couldn't wait for you to get out of the bed this morning. I was waiting on you to curl your hair and get your makeup on so you could get out of here and get this whooping. I got mine and you're going to get yours. We're gonna be hollering ouch together. Seldom do we see real love. It's such a commodity that if you run into a love giver, you'll always see a crowd. It's such a rarity. A love giver will always draw a crowd. They'll always have friends. There'll always be somebody who gravitates to you. You know why? Because love is attractive. It's sexy. It's lovely. It's sensual. It's wonderful. You don't have to campaign for it. You don't have to market to get it. All you got to do is just show it. You don't even have to show it, just flash it, just a little glimpse, and people will run to it, black, white, blue, green, young, old, pretty, nice looking. It don't matter, love is attractive. You don't see people drawn to you, clamoring around you, listening at you, wanting to be near you. Maybe it's because your well is dry. I'm not saying that there's not water down in there somewhere, but a well can be dammed up. It has to be cleaned out. It can be filled with all kinds of debris that stops it from flowing. It's not enough that you have it. Love only works when you give it. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, that ye have love one to another, not one for another, because you having love for me don't do me any good. It's like me having a check for you. You can't spend what I have for you till I give it to you. So you may have love for a lot of things and a lot of people, but if it doesn't flow, if you can't express it, if you can't get it out, the person next to you can be starving for what you have, but don't know how to release. And the whole thing falls apart for the lack of something that you had in your arsenal, but you never were taught how to release it. And they starved to death for something that you had for them, but couldn't get to them. So all of us are struggling in some way to get the flow right. Let the flow knock out all of my insecurities, because my insecurities will taint the stream of my love and make me not be quite as honest and transparent as I would be, because it'll make me vulnerable. And I'm afraid to be vulnerable to you because I'm afraid to trust you. And I'm afraid to trust you because of the things that proceeded between you and I, or between other people, that contaminate my stream. I don't realize that this does not protect me from pain. It just contaminates my personality. So what what I build up as a defense to protect me. And what I parade as strength is really weakness, because I have to be strong. You have to be strong to love. You have to be strong to love. You have to be strong enough to risk being hurt and sometimes get hurt, and still you have to be strong to love. To put yourself on Front Street like that, I'm not talking about having love for, I'm talking about strong enough to keep giving it away and giving it away and giving it away, even when it looks like it's not working, even when it doesn't look like you're getting a return on it. You have to be strong enough to insist on being you, even when somebody is taking advantage of how you are. You refuse to become somebody else just to survive your unity with them. You have to be strong enough. Glory to God. Somebody shout power.